Hello and welcome back to our U.S. History series here on Cerebri Learning. This week we'll be covering the end of the Second World War, the years 1944 and 1945. In our last video we discussed the middle of the war, and so if you want you can go watch that to get a better understanding of this one. It's the year 1944 and the Axis is getting beaten back on all sides. Allied forces were advancing up Italy after taking North Africa, successfully island hopping towards Japan, as well as marching west, retaking Russia. By March, the Soviets had reached Romania, and they struck the remaining Nazi forces in the area at Crimea. In June, the Nazis retreated from Rome, and one of the biggest events was about to happen. The Allies planned a massive invasion of Normandy in Nazi-occupied France. On June 6, 1944, tens of thousands of Allied troops landed there, with thousands sacrificing their lives. This was a major turning point in the war, and the beginning of the end for the Axis. While all of this was happening, however, millions of civilians were also suffering. The Nazis in particular used their ideals of racial superiority to justify the horrifying slaughter of millions of Jews, Roma people, Slavs, and others. We plan to have a full video up about all of the tragedies of the war next week, but we felt we should mention it here as well to prevent misinformation. Meanwhile, in the Pacific, even more Japanese-held islands began to fall. Over the summer, the US took the Marianas and Guam. August saw a great victory for the Allies with the liberation of Paris. Brussels and Belgium would be liberated the following month. Hitler's last attempt to halt the Allied advance at the Battle of the Bulge was another large failure. All of this solidified the Axis decline. By the start of 1945, the Allies had taken much of Japanese territory in the Pacific, and the Soviets had finally taken Warsaw. In February, the Yalta Conference was held, where the US, USSR, and the UK discussed how to divide up the world after the war. The Allies captured Iwo Jima and Okinawa soon after. While the Soviets were advancing, Hitler's mental state began to deteriorate even further. He killed himself on April 30th, creating a leadership crisis in the failing Nazi regime. Soviet troops occupied Berlin just days later, and a few days after that, the Nazis were finally defeated. However, the Allies still had Japan to deal with in the east. They calculated that a land invasion would cause millions of casualties, and so they turned to a mysterious new weapon that was being developed. The Manhattan Project was designed to create the most powerful bomb in the world. The US first dropped the bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima, and then on Nagasaki. The impact of the bomb was unprecedentedly devastating. After the bombings, Japan surrendered, and the war was finally over. Stay tuned for next week. We here at Cerebri Learning would like to thank you for watching this video. And if you like this, please check out some of our other content, like our physics series, or some of our standalone videos. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and also be on the lookout for future series. Our full bibliography will also be in the description down below. We've also included some other useful resources for those of you who'd like to learn more.